We'll have a friendly conversation today over the merits of the M17 versus the Glock 19X. As you may know, military, U.S. Army put out a request for proposal for a new service pistol, and there was all sorts of different specifications in the request. I don't believe they specify caliber, but they did specify modularity and being adaptable to different people's hands. It had to have a manual safety, so the colors were specified, the various shades of coyote. So Smith & Wesson, CZ, obviously SIG, Glock, several others submitted pistols to trials. These were the last two left standing. And apparently SIG came out with such a sweetheart package price. I think it was $210 per pistol. That basically halted the competition dead in its tracks. And the SIG was adopted as the M17, and then the compact version is the M18. Over here on the right, this is a commemorative M17. I guess I picked it up maybe a year ago. Got a decent price on it. But identical and otherwise to the first round of issued M17s. I think the Rangers got them apparently today. SIG got a allowance to supply them with the black controls. But a couple differences for maybe the civilian one is the smaller tritium inserts on the rear sight. Markings on the frame. It doesn't say M17 P320, just M17. Otherwise, it has all the assembly numbers you see on military contracts, pistols. Interesting. I mean, we wish back in 1985 we could get a 92 Beretta M9, a real one. So kudos to SIG for supplying this, albeit at a cost, to the American buying public. So some things I like, some things I don't. I was not a fan of the P250. And from my perspective, why would I buy a P250? I've got East German P226s, New Hampshire made 226s and 220s and 228s and 229s. So the 250 just seemed a ho-hum. I mean, this wasn't the next gen SIG that I think anyone was really asking for. But it met a price point. Some people were happy with it. And it did serve as the platform for the P320. And that lends itself to good, and it lends itself to some bad things. The good is the modular, the chassis system is pretty cool. If not completely lifted from Steyer's pistol platforms. But it does make a unique pistol where the grip frame is not even considered the registered part of the serial number part of the firearm. It's the chassis. Chassis comes out in a couple minutes, but basically you buy the chassis and you can design entire pistol platforms around the chassis for 100 years. So that is quite interesting, and I'm sure it makes maintenance a lot easier as well for the military. But on the negative side, you can clearly see that the P320 platform, was derived from a hammer fire pistol. I mean, it's right there. There's the cover. There's where the hammer would have gone to the frame. And with that comes the bore axis. I think that's a complaint of a lot of people with this particular platform, that, the hand doesn't really sit high. Would it have been a better pistol if it was designed from the outset as a striker fire pistol? I could say, yeah, it probably would have been. But at the same time, there's economies of scale that SIG leveraged. The grip frames were already in production. The chassis very similar to that of other pistols that they were manufacturing, and it brought a good price point and quick development time for this pistol. Now, I have not shot this M17, but I've got plenty of rounds down the pipe of P320s that I've owned for several years since they first came out, including a full size and a compact. And yeah, they shoot fine. They shoot fine. Now we'll move the discussion over to the Glock. I know that I'm not a Glock fanboy, just to put that out there, but I've owned dozens and dozens of Glocks since Gen 1 G17s, 19 Austria, from Austria, 10mm, 45, 40s, you know, always the bridesmaid, never the bride in my collection. But this changed everything for me after 20 plus years of buying Glocks and not really warming up to them. There was always something that kept me from loving them, particularly the Gen 3. The finger grooves on the compact frames were right where my fingers wanted to be. The full-size ones, particularly the 10mm, real chunky in the hand. But boy, I really like the way this feels in the hand. And I think I've got the medium back strap on that. But this Gen 5, what they did with the frame, the Glock, it doesn't feel like a 2x4. Really conforms to the hand very nicely. And you get a very nice high hold on there with the low bore access. Trigger pull is excellent. Now, I keep hearing great things about the M17 trigger pull, the P320. I've yet to feel that, to be honest with you. I find the trigger pull to be a little spongy, to be honest with you. But the Glock has got a nice, crisp, nice wall and a clean break, around 4.5 to 5 pounds. I've got no complaints with the Glock trigger pull. In years past, you'd have to use aftermarket connectors and, you know, all sorts of little tricks to get acceptable trigger pull. Not anymore. We don't have to do a thing to this. At least from a combat pistol standpoint, it is ready to go. So overall, I really like the Glock 19X. And I'll tell you why. I go to the range and I put out 15 or 20 targets and I do a tactical shooting double taps. This thing's fast. And this complaint was, oh, I would want the short grip and the long slide. No, you don't. You want that short slide. You don't want all that reciprocating mass. Not on this pistol. Makes it fast. The extra length gives you more leverage in the hand, and your follow-up shots with something like this is improved over its Glock 17 counterpart and practically any other pistol that I own. In comparison, the M17s and the P320s are a little more of a handful. And I was never big, the high bore axis proponent of that. You know, pistol's a pistol, but the Glock is significantly faster than a SIG. I'm not bashing the SIG. This is just physics here, folks. But I find it very hard to believe that you can improve upon this platform right here, the combat pistol, particularly with the thumb safety for conscript use. I mean, Glock might have made the quintessential combat pistol right here. I'm not saying that lightly. I'm a 1911 guy. But they might have made the quintessential combat pistol. Accurate, fast. What more do you want? Capacity. Feels good, shoots good. I mean, just phenomenal. So the M17 holds a place. It'll go down in history as, like the third modern automatic adopted by the U.S. military. We're going to see them replacing the M11s, P2226s, Beretta 92, the A1 92s, the Marines use. Pretty much everything in the inventory is going to be replaced with a variant of the M17 or M18. Did they pick the best gun? It's debatable. In my mind, no. It's not a bad gun by any means. But was there better out there? And the answer to that is, yeah, there is. That's just my take on it. I don't get these for free. I buy them. So this is my opinion. I paid for it. No one else did. But I don't know what I'm going to do with the M17. I keep it around. I collect military arms. I may shoot it one day. I don't know if it's ever going to be really collectible or not. I'll get around to shooting this one. In the meantime, I got other P320s I can shoot, M17 P320 variants. And this, I carry this all the time. Galco belt holster, Galco shoulder holster. In the wintertime, I'm wearing a jacket. And 119, 217s in the pouches. You got a lot of firepower. And it will not fail you. The jury's still out for me. It's a little too big to carry. And its reliability, I still have to put a lot of rounds through it before I can, trust it. I mean, obviously the military does, so it can't be all that bad. That's just my opinion. Hope it helps you make a decision. If you liked what you heard, shoot me some comments below.